Hello and welcome. IIT Kanpur Alumni Association's East Coast chapter presents another episode of the podcast Career Chronicle. I'm your host Rajul Jan, and today I have the pleasure to speak with Shri Rakesh Sharma ji. He is the current president of the Alumni Association. He has received IIT Kanpur Distinguished Service Alumni Award. He has been the member of IITK Foundation, and many credit him to raise big amount of money for IIT Kanpur. Today we'll talk to him about Alumni Association, IITK Foundation, and his journey into raising funds for social causes. Hello Rakesh ji, welcome. First of all, I would like to know how was your journey to IIT Kanpur and your first experiences at IIT Kanpur that shaped your life?
That year when I went to IIT, the first semester itself, there was a sweeper whose son fell down from a second floor and he broke his skull. And then I went to room to get 300 rupees for him. In those days, in 1975, it was a large sum. So that was a first very important experience. And after that, Andhra Pradesh cyclone came in 1977. Immediately I said, at least we can do to raise some money for that. And then I put posters in all 5 hostels in those days, as well as key points. And everybody was concerned that something should be done. So within 2 days, we raised 20,000 rupees, which was a lot of money in those days because to all the professors, they gave 1 day their salary, the staff members gave 1 day salary, and then students, whatever they could give. So that was the most interesting experience. And before that, in one of my trips to by train to Indore, we found in Jhansi station, Mother Teresa was standing on the platform. So I said, why are you standing there? He says, we cannot get in the train, it is so crowded. He says, we have reserved seat, you can sit on our chair, our seat. So she sat with us. She was hungry, so we went to get bananas there. We bought a surahi in those days from railway station so that she will have water all the time. So she was very happy that we took care of her. Then Shivasto, my friend, asked her, how did you become Mother Teresa? So she said that one time they were going to the convent and one beggar was asking them, I need help, please help me, I'm very sick. But they didn't care, they went to the other side of the footpath, but he also went to the other side and they were going faster, and this beggar also, and then suddenly beggar fell down. So she saw that the guy fell down, the blood is coming out of his mouth. So she was a nurse. She took him to the hospital without worrying about her duty to going to teach in the convent. And suddenly, on the way to the hospital, this person died. They tried to revive him, but nothing worked. This is 1946. So she requested the church that they should give her permission to do something for these people because poorest of the poor, they need help and these are beggars. So they put her in isolation for 10 days and gave her so that she can clear her mind because she says, you have taken vow, you cannot get out. If you get out, then you are out. So after 10 days, she said she decided that she will quit. And between 46 and 48, she was out of church. And in 47, when this riots happened, she took care of all the victims and people who needed help. So she became very famous, and people appreciated her work. So when we raised money for Andhra Pradesh cyclone, I knew that she was in the news that she is taking money. So we sent it to Missionary of Charity, and Railway was taking everything for free. So we sent a lot of clothes and money. We sent 10,000 to her, 10,000 to Ramkresh Mission. So after that, in 92, I went to IIT Kanpur, learned about IIT Kanpur Alumni Association. Dr. Bansal was the founder of Alumni Association, and he told me that he wants to come to America, and so I offered him that you can, if you come to New York, you can stay with me. So when he came, I took him to Anil Bhandari. So he wanted to donate lot of computers, but in those days, IIT by law could not take anything. So they said we can take cash, and for cash also they had to change the law in Parliament. So finally, IIT Kanpur Trust was created, and after that, Yahoo Group started in '95. Dheeraj Kumar, he 95 or 97, 98. He's 95 by so somewhere later, and so that.
Amazing.
Alumni Association. Then I started going to IIT every single year from '98 to attend most of the time for the reunion. So that time you will meet everybody from that 25th year.
Yeah.
I think even pandemic years I have been there.
Wow, amazing.
To raise money for the laptops.
Oh, nice. So we'll come to your help with the fundraising in a bit and your role as the president of Alumni Association. But before I go there, in my research, I've learned two things about you. That A, you know almost everyone, and not just within IIT Kanpur alumni community, but even beyond that. And second, that you have always helped everyone. Like whoever comes to you, your first sentence is generally like, "How can I help you?" That is what my research told me. So my question to you is, what is the goal of your life?
So what happened is my father was an orphan. He lost his parents when he was 10. So he started living in a temple. So and then made himself, meaning first mayor of Indore in 1951, which was like a remarkable for a person who, and then became a professor. I had always concern for people who don't have anything because he himself had slept many nights without eating. So he knew the value of food and value of living without anybody. And his younger brother, because he was hungry, one day he just committed suicide because couldn't handle. So he was like, that was one thing which he was very upset, that for hunger you should. So every time when we were little, he will give money to beggars and anybody who's coming, their clothing. And so that, and then when we constructed a house in Indore, there was a jhopadi next to, meaning next to our house. So he, like one of the ladies who was meaning widow and she didn't have any. So he asked her to he made her her sister. That basically changed the whole dynamics of the Jhopalpatti, because then they said, oh, he is our mentor, and he was there to fight for them for anything and everything. So that made a big difference in our lives, that we take care of the poor. So that was the thing which basically created the idea that should help everybody.
I remember when we previously met, you have told me about one PhD person who,
Yeah, so when we started last 31st July, there was a person who wrote to me that, so she said she needs help to finish her PhD, there's money ran out, and so we gave her 100,000 rupees loan. I said, you have to return it, interest-free loan, but few days later she said she has a research paper which has been published in the most important conference of photonics. Anil Bansal from our East Coast, he was ready to give airfare. Then Kushal Sacheti gave the money for the hotel. And then when she went to Seattle, she didn't know how to go from Seattle to Tacoma, and she didn't have like some cash, but that was $80, and she wanted to save something for her like bad time. But anyway, so finally, one alumnus, Prashant Shukla from 87 batch, he volunteered that he will, but he says, I'm going to India, so my wife will pick her up. So she picked her up and then found out that the girl is hungry, so she took her to home to cook, and so that because she's vegetarian and during the flight they didn't have any food. Then somebody had to uh, take care of her while she is in the conference. So Salil Dave, another alumnus of 86 batch, he found another alumnus from IIM Ahmedabad with her. Her daughter was in neighborhood, so she took care of this woman during the conference. So it was like everything worked out so well, and then she published the paper, got a job, and everything turned out to be wonderful.
I see most people are very busy in their day-to-day lives, and they're very. I don't want to use the word selfish, but they're very focused on their own. While when I spoke about you with a lot of alumni to just research about you and the stories that you narrated, like how you have helped connect people, and the community generally comes together to help each other. One another follow-up question: do sometimes people abuse this, help the community can provide? Like we have seen some examples in the past that people are earning well, still not even buying insurance, and then eventually relying on community to help
Yeah,
or
but
some other
this
issues.
happens when we have this health insurance for medical health insurance. And now people are asking, we didn't buy it and we don't have Ayushman, meaning the poorest of the poor. We said we didn't even know about Ayushman Yojana. And now how much, what happens is their fault cannot be imposed on everybody else. So when I asked, some people said, you raise money for these people, we want deduction. But the IIT Kanpur said that, meaning for their mistake we cannot be held responsible. So that is why, because some people passed away and we had to raise money, then that is when I said we have to create a group term insurance, so that these people, there is no group term insurance, there is no health checkup, you just get it, you just have to pay some money and you get it. That this will be for India 1 crore and 50 lakhs.
Nice.
And the premiums are reasonable. Only thing is that after 55 they don't give. So young age is anything 18 to 55. After 55, you by the time you would have accumulated money, but the insurance companies, they said they have to go through medical checkup if they want 55 above. Those guys have to, they can get insurance, but on individual basis. In America, IEEE has a insurance. You can buy it very easily without any health checkup. So, but in America also people don't take it, and then it becomes a problem for the whole community, whole IIT Kanpur people. They feel that they have to raise, and this is such a sensitive thing that. But my request to every alumni is that you should protect money. You cannot take it easy, meaning these are the responsibilities which you have to take and take insurance.
Yeah. I completely agree. One should take care at least of their insurances and everything. And there is a limited capacity at which alumni association or community at large can support. And reasonable cases it makes sense. But if everyone starts doing that, then it won't work. So uh, now I just want to pivot a bit, and you have raised money for a variety of causes. And on my podcast before, Dr. Ram has mentioned that some of the big money that has come to IIT Kanpur, especially for Gangwal Medical School, for example, has all been your hard, work and sweat. So just want to go deeper there, understand like how your journey has been in terms of helping raise money for a variety of social causes, and including for IIT Kanpur, and particularly this, big money from Mr. Gangwal.
So what happens is, for any money you need to have relationship with people. It is, if you just have cold call, nobody will give money. So in '98 when Rakesh Sharma became CEO, I said, I read it in the newspaper that, oh, he is from IIT Kanpur and Wharton. I said IIT Kanpur. So I called the US Air switchboard because I didn't have his number. And I told him that Dr. Padmanabhan, who is the director, would like to give you will congratulate you. So he said, he immediately came online. He says, I said, no, I have to bring him. Just wanted to find out what time is good for you. He said, take my number and call whenever. So then I immediately called uh, conference in Dr. Padmanabhan. And then suddenly we had a three-way call, congratulated him because he was the first Indian to ever become CEO of a large corporation, large American corporation, a public corporation. So it was a big deal for us. Then his batchmate Sanjeev Agrawal, Sanjeev Bhargav, he says he was the alumni secretary. He says nominate him for distinguished alumnus. So I nominated him, and then I also went. I go to IIT Kanpur for every year. So for distinguished alumnus ceremony, I went and met him and recorded his video and sent it to him. So that what happens is when you do that, people remember.
Otherwise, there's a relationship that you continue over time.
So then in 2002, when we had before Penn IIT in 2003, there was a Penn IIT in 2002 started by Ranjan Pant of 73 batch. So he invited Rakesh Sharma and Rajendra Singh and all. These guys were, Rajan Singh was the first Indian to make $1 billion by that time. And then Mickey Pant, I met him for the first time. He gave a talk on branding. Really interesting. So I started talking to Muktesh Pant. He's called Mickey Pant. That this is fantastic. And then he told the story about other things, how Reebok he made number one in India and then number one in Asia. He said that very simple thing about, so when people ask him, where did you learn marketing? He says, IIT Kanpur. He says, where did you, other than IIT Kanpur, he has never studied anywhere. So I said, he says, I used to do posters, so I know how to marketing and debate. I learned how to communicate, how to be a public speaker. We had a golden jubilee. He gave it for IIT Kanpur in 2010. Lots of merchandise from Reebok. So it was a connection from 2002 which helped us to raise money in 2010 also.
Nice. So all these connections and networking also help you raise.
Each of us is a prime number. What we have, nobody else has.
Yeah.
That is the thing which I understand, that even if you talk to the lowest of the low or highest of the high, they are all unique and their role is unique.
I'm sure all these stories and the connection that you have developed over time definitely helps the community overall, and the role you play in networking and using the network to help each other is amazing. So at this point, I just want to pivot towards your role as the president of IIT Kanpur Alumni Association. My question is, why did you run for the president?
So I had no intention of running against, because these positions don't matter. Meaning I will do work anyways. So Alumni Association, what happened is there were problems with the association and people were fighting each other. So somebody, I asked several people that can you run? None of them agreed, and somebody said, if you run, we will support you. I said, I don't have any interest in running. He says, there is nobody who is ready to fight. Then I said, okay, that was my call, and I think it was good. It has been a good journey to be of something which I couldn't have done, like this group term insurance, life insurance. Without meaning, if you are inside, you can do a lot. And same thing, medical insurance, I said, let us create a committee of the consumers rather than Alumni Association should be there to help. But the people who are using this insurance, they should be part of negotiating. They should be part of, because we don't know what is right and wrong. But those guys who have never taken a claim, they don't want the premium to go through the roof. The people who have taken the claim, they want all the benefits in the world. So somebody has to balance it, and then we will support it from the outside, but take decision yourself. So that is what we did rather than outsiders. Meaning,
Makes sense.
it is like you are teaching them somebody that oh sugar is sweet, but you have never taken sugar, so you don't know the problems what these guys are facing. So they if they negotiate, and the people who have never taken any insurance, they negotiate that our premium should not go down or go up, because this is happening. The insurance companies have lost 4 crores. How much they will lose? So I learned about all these alumni problems right from the beginning, how the whole dynamics, what happens. Everybody would have want to save their turf. So Dean of those days it was called Dean RPG.
DRPG, yeah. I do know.
So resources planning. So afterwards it became Dora. So, but they will, Alumni Association secretary was appointed by a director. He's also appointed by director. Both of them, if they have difference of opinion, nobody can do anything. So one time, when Sudhir Jain was the Dean RPG, he was not able to get the mailing list from Alumni Association. I said, this is, I called the director, nobody there. He just said, I'm not going to, you fire me. I will not, they tried everything and he was coming here. I said, you come, I know everybody, so we'll go everywhere. And I traveled with him all over the country.
I know we have been talking about behind the cameras, but I want to learn this aspect of leadership from you that you mentioned a bit. When people have a leadership role, leadership position, they just cling to it and they find it very hard to let it go. So, what's your take on that, and what's your advice in general?
What happens is this is basically some people are real leaders, so they think that they are the only one. They don't create the second rank of leadership. So this is the problem with the every organization you go, because people who start the organization, they stay there, and but they do have a role to. But so in when I organize any program, I always try to get somebody who is not in the leadership to take master of ceremony.
Amazing, amazing. I'm sure all this networking and connections helps
Yeah.
the overall community as well.
Same thing, and I don't care. I also know non-IIT CEOs, because we see it is just a relationship, because you are each one of them. That is why prime number.
Prime number.
And each one of them creates something which is
Very
unbelievable.
unique,
huh?
unbelievable. Right.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks a lot for the talk today.
Rakesh Jain from my Harvard. He is the only IITian, I think, who got the award from President Obama National Technology Award. So he created the whole mathematical model for body. Meaning he used mass transfer equation for finding out how a tumor will grow. And that was a revolutionary thing, and for that he should get a Nobel Prize, because whole science, whole new area of biological science with mathematical models came up because of him. So
If I'm not mistaken, they were in
Rakesh.
Penn IIT earlier.
Yeah, Penn IIT
I
also.
was there, so I remember you introducing.
I just had lunch with him in Boston. The amazing guy. Then we had Kushal Sacheti, who is into diamonds. And he is a chemical engineer, set up several chemical plants, but now he has diamonds one of a kind, and it's hard to meet somebody who is so accomplished in diamond trading. Then We had Taranveer Singh, who is a 2006 batch, and he does this high frequency trading.
Correct, our research.
Yeah, and that makes 300 to 400%. We talk about 10% return. The only problem there is they cannot take like $1 billion to make it 300 times. And then we had Sheena Iyengar, Garuda Iyengar's wife. She gave a talk on choice matters. And she told a very interesting story because she wrote this book, Choice Matters. She is a faculty at Columbia University. We went to see Dr. Ranjit Singh. He was first batch, and the company was called Singh Brothers, and they had this called Diamond Essence, and they had spent almost $72 million for the advertising. So they must have had a lot more revenue to do that. I went to see him one time, and then this Sudhir Jain and I, Dr. Jain was there. So we said we have want to do chairs for. He says, can you? He says, how much is the chair? He says 100,000. He says, do 3 chairs. And then before his death, he called me that he wants to give large donation for the poverty reduction. So I said, how can we? He says, you create some jobs and for poorest of the poor. So he donated money. After his death, his wife gave that money, and now Rita Singh is running a school in one of the villages to train the people for skills. So I have to go and see them because it was in the Short Hill malls. We walked and walked and walked because it was a winter time. He says, we'll take breakfast. And so he was a very interesting human being, one of the most interesting I met. So after IIT, I joined State Bank, and I was posted in a rural posting in Bastar. So one time I was coming, I lost my way because there are these 2 Pagdandis and then 2 ways here and there, and I was driving for a long time, and I said, I lost some way. But then suddenly I saw a tractor. I said, oh, sitting on the tractor can also help me. But then I saw a person below. I said, oh, excuse me. I asked him in Hindi, ki ye Delhi Rajara ka rasta kahan hai? He says, oh, you forgot it. I said, how do you speak English? Where did you learn English? So what's so great about English? I said, no, when you are talking, you must have, you are repairing the tractor, so you must be an ITI trained person. He says, no, I didn't. So I said, where did you study? He says, I studied in IIT. I said, IIT is called, Indian Institute of Technology. He said, yes. I said, where did you study? He said, IIT Kanpur. He came to MIT after that in Media Lab because he created, from garbage, he created very functioning toys. And now he creates even unbelievable things. So I said, we have to. So immediately when I learned about ArvindGuptaToys.com, I nominated him for distinguished alumnus. And 2003 I went and I would go for every distinguished thing, and I narrated that story that this man I met 21 years back in 82, and this is how I figured it out and nominated him. So he was very. Now in IIT Gandhinagar they have a very big lab based on his ideas how to create various robot and all those things. He's just. Now we got a Padma Bhushan also.
Wow.
Padma Bhushan, yeah.
Amazing. IIT Kanpur people are like very from a small village to like a shorter mall in Jersey.
Yeah.
And I can probably relate to both. I have driven my family's tractor in the villages to. I like short hill malls with literally 10 minutes from my place, so I can probably relate to both experiences. But I'm amazed with such journeys that you have witnessed, and your journey has been amazing and inspiring as well.